Oh. Sahana vavatu sahanau bhunaktu sahaviryam karavavahai tejasvinavadhitamastu ma vidvishavahai. Om Shanti Shanti Shanti. May the Lord protect us. May He nourish us. May we acquire the capacity to study and understand the scriptures. May our study be brilliant, and may we not cavil at each other. Om, peace, peace, peace unto us all. Sai Ram, dear brothers and sisters, loving Sai Ram to all of you. We welcome everyone to the satsang of the Sri Sathya Sai Baba Center of Arcadia. So we are continuing our study circle on Gita Vahini, and we'll be continuing on the page 33, chapter 7, on the online version you have, or on the hard copy you have, page 60. We'll start that. Suddenly, before we start the study circle, I had suddenly I feel like some Swami gave me the thought. All of us are gathered in the name of God. This satsang, we don't realize it is very powerful. It is sign of divine grace. To be able to be together with other devotees who also love God and want to serve God is a special gift of God, grace of God. It is not my saying, it is all the great masters. Sri Ramakrishna Paramahamsa said that, and Swami said that, and even Jesus said, wherever two or more people are gathered in my name, I manifest there, I sit there. So we should have conviction we are more than two people. We are sitting here, Swami is with us. And the famous sloka, I often talk about the Adi Shankara. Satsangatve, that is the basic Nisangatvam. So good company makes you detachment from the world. Satsangatve, Nisangatve, Nirmohatvam, your delusion is gone. Nirmohatve, Nischalatatvam. Once your delusion is gone, you are always calm, serene, steadfast. Maintain that. And Nischalatatve Jivan Mukti. That state itself is Jivan Mukti. That means people think you are liberated after dying. Oh, where will you go to heaven, hell? No. When you are maintain that state, you are liberated while alive. So you don't need to think about what will happen. So you reach that state, you are already liberated. So that for that, this satsang where we get together and talk about God, His teachings, His glories, and sing His glory, it is a really blessing whether we meet here and Sai Prem Nilayam or any other center or anywhere in the world, any place, whether it could be the temple, church, or a synagogue, mosque, anywhere where that omnipresent Lord is glorified, that makes that you whatever little love you have for God, it gets multiplied, it gets reinforced. So you should always, like we have longing for God, you should have longing to be with the other devotees who also have, because then sometimes you get from the other people, you get inspired. My God is so much intense for love, devotion. I wish I have it. So you feel that longing. So that is why suddenly those thoughts came to me when I was chanting. So I wanted to share. Now coming back to our Gita Vahini. So I'll summarize last week and 2 weeks we have discussed in the study circle main point, then Nirupama or anybody else can add. So like one thing we should have clarity of something. What is happiness? Now everybody in the center knows, right? Happiness is union with God. So that similarly other things. Who is a hero? Swami said, who is a hero? Is not the one who went to Himalayas, the one who didn't go to the moon, or who went to the planets. Because actually there is a great scientist by name Hiranyakashipu in the time of that guy. He was the father of Prahlada. Swami says he is the greatest scientist ever known because he could go to any planets. Not only them, he could control them. He could control the 5 elements. So he was the greatest scientist, but he was the most unhappy person on the earth because he hated Lord Vishnu. So then his little boy, 5-year-old boy, tells, Dad, you conquered all the worlds, everything, but you didn't conquer your inner world. So Swami says the definition of a hero is not who conquered the outer world, who conquered the inner world, who got rid of those 6 enemies: desire, anger, greed, attachment, pride, and jealousy. He is the hero. So whenever next time somebody asks who is the hero, you should say, did you hear? Then you are a hero. Otherwise, we are not a hero. The last we discussed that is on page 59. Second thing is we talked about who is our real friend. Is everybody's friend. God is the best friend and real friend. And in the 9 types of devotion, we said that is the penultimate. First is the last 6, 7, 8, 9. Seventh is dasyam, that is servitude, service to the Lord or the devotees of the world. Next is friendship with the Lord, and finally surrender. So before we surrender, the friendship. So we need to develop a relation to God, and the best relation is friend, because you may not open your heart with even your brother or your family, father, mother, even children, teenage. They will open their heart to their friends. They share their concern, joy. So make God your best friend, where you share your all your challenges, troubles, joys, sorrows. So that is why we talked about example. Lord Krishna himself said how Arjuna, you said you are my friend, because actually he is related to him as a brother-in-law. He says you are not only his brother-in-law, but you are my friend and my devotee. So that is what he emphasizes. And then we talked about who is a devotee. Who is a devotee? What did we say? There are 37 qualities given in chapter 12 from shloka 13 to 20th. So when we have time, we'll talk about those things. So then that will give us indication. We say, oh, I'm devotee of Sai Baba or Rama or Krishna, Jesus. It will give a self-audit. Do I satisfy all the criteria? And as we said, the first one is hatred towards none, adveshta sarvabhutanam. So that first itself you should work, because sometimes you may not hate other human beings. Even you cannot hate animals, plants, mountains, anything. So you should have love for not only all human beings. First we should start there, and then to animals. That is why Swami says we worship the Nandi, the bull in front of Lord Shiva. But when you really see it, you beat it up. When you see the snake around Lord Shiva, you worship it. When you see the snake around, you try to kill it. You see the rat for Hanuman, the Ganesha, the vehicle, you worship along with the Hanuman. But when you do the rats, you put a mouse trap and kill them. So, but really it is that high stage where you see that divinity in everything, that is the ultimate. Then you will have love for not only human but all beings. So we talked about the qualities of devotees, what we should do. So these are the main points. So I want to remember who is a hero, who is our friend, and who is a devotee. So now we'll continue. Anything you want to add from what we missed, Nirupama?
No,
Or anybody has any other thoughts also, don't hesitate. This is a family gathering where we share the message of Swami. Are any questions, comments, anything about? Go ahead.
Just like before, I'm going to start in the paragraph that we actually ended just to set the stage a little bit. Moreover, in the complex spiritual field and the field of knowledge concerning Godhead, there are two interpretations possible, the outer and the inner. Ordinary men accept the outer, and those who have some experience of the Lord seek to know the inner. As the saying goes, like the mote in the eye, the stone in the shoe, the thorn in the foot, the faction in the home, is this doubt in the brain. When such doubts assail Arjuna, who is the representative man, it means they are humanity's own doubts. They can be solved only by Madhava, who is beyond and above humanity. That is why Krishna is ready by his side to remove any doubt and plant joy in his heart. Now, what exactly is the doubt? Krishna was born at the end of Dwapara Yuga. Surya and Manu are persons of the past. How then could these two meet Krishna? It cannot be physical relationship, for many generations separate Krishna from the other two. Krishna is Arjuna's contemporary. How did Krishna teach this yoga to Surya? To sit quietly listening to unbelievable stories is itself a sign of poverty of intellect. Every moment, Arjuna's uneasiness increased. This was observed by Krishna, who was everywhere and in everything. He said, "What is the cause of the restlessness that I notice in you? Tell me," and prodded him with a smile. Arjuna was glad he got a chance. "Madhava, I do not understand your words. They confuse me so much that I am losing a little of the faith that I have in you. But I pray, excuse me for asking this, please solve my doubt. I cannot stand it any more." Arjuna pleaded with folded hands.
Yeah, because
There's more,
I think
to
that is the
story.
continuation, story.
Gopala was glad, and he asked him what the doubt was. Arjuna then said, "You said that this yoga was taught to Surya and to Manu. Of what distant past are these two? And to what age do you belong? Did you teach them while in this body? That is unbelievable. For this body is only 4 or 5 years older than mine. You are not more aged than that. When did you teach them, without my being aware of it? And the sun? He is greater than you, many times greater. He is there from the very beginning, from a past which is beyond our imagination. I cannot believe it, no. Not even the most intelligent person can prove it as true. Let it be, you may say. This is not the body. This is not the yuga. It was while I was in another body and during another yuga. That makes it still more strange. For how can anyone remember what happened in any previous birth? If you say that it is possible to have the memory, then it must apply to me also, is it not? The Shastras declare that only a few divine beings keep such things in memory. The mortals cannot hold them in remembrance. Well, I may accept that you are divine, but I have to accept that Surya, the sun, is also divine. How can two persons equal in divine status teach and learn from each other? When you teach and he learns, he becomes your disciple, is it not? You must then be taken to be superior to Surya. Let us take it to be so. I accept that you are the Lord, God Himself. That creates further difficulties for me. For why should God be bound by birth and death and activity? When you assume the 5-foot human form, is it not a limitation on the limitless? From that infinite, limitless universal, why should God incarnate as the limited particular? Howsoever I argue within myself, I cannot solve this doubt. Your words are meaningful for you only. They do not convey any meaning to me. My head is confused. Give me some guidance, some convincing reply, prayed Arjuna. Shall I stop?
Yeah.
I think this passage is probably one of the most sort of intense, and it's a lot of and I think it's very powerful when Swami writes that as Arjuna is representative of all humanity, the doubts that Arjuna expresses are essentially representative of the doubts that many times humans will express, which is why we have this avatar that comes to bring about, to address the decrease in dharma. And it is probably because of these doubts that there is this decrease in dharma and vice versa. And we see that even in our own lives. I think many times when people go through trials and tribulations, or when you witness things that are happening around you, for example, what's happening, say, on Gaza Strip, or when you see things happen to innocent people, you wonder, you have that doubt if there were, and people, I've heard people say, if there was really God, these things wouldn't happen. However, we'll probably see in the answer, as we kind of look within ourselves a little bit more, where that divinity does exist, that there is a purpose to everything, and there is an educational purpose to everything. But I think what Arjuna is really, it's just so heartfelt, the way he's really pleading to Krishna to just relieve him of this doubt. And I think probably anyone who's a human and has some life experience has gone through that experience with God, where you're basically pleading to God, show me something so that I know that you're here. I think, I know I do it quite frequently. And I think a lot of people will do that too. Ask for a really specific, I always say a sign, but some kind of indication.
Yeah, as you talked about, Arjuna, Swami said actually, Arjuna represents us. On behalf of all the humanity, he asked the question. And using him as a medium, Lord Krishna gave the message to all humanity. Actually, Partha, his name is Arjuna's another name is called Partha, the son of Prithvi, son of earth. And we are all the children of earth. So it is really, he is asking on behalf of us. And we will all have doubts. That is all the problem is. So if you don't have doubts, you are realized. So that is why one great saint, she said one time, as long deha is there, you will have sandeha. Deha means body. As long as you have body consciousness, you will be having these doubts. Ultimately, when you go beyond the body consciousness, then you will have no more doubts. What is one of the 108 names of Swami regarding doubts? Anybody know? Sakala Samshaya Haraya Namaha. So if you really pray to him, Sakala Samshaya Haraya Namaha, he will remove all doubts. So we should pray intensely. And even Lord Krishna, after the whole Gita is done, at the end, Arjuna says, because at the time he had all these doubts, then at the end says, Nashto moho smrutir labdva tvat prasadat maya chuta sthitosmi gata sandeha karishye vachanam tava. So first he says, I'm confused, Nashto mohan. Then he says, my delusion is gone. Smritir Labdha, now I know, because he forgot who he is. He thought he's the body, mind, intellect. Now I know who I am because I am divine. And Jistostmi Gata Sandeha, all my doubts are gone. How? Pat Prasadat Maya Arjuna, by your grace. So it is really that faith, having no doubts, is gift of God. So we need to, that's why one of the famous things is Shirdi Baba's favorite is Shraddha Saburi. This faith and patience are crucial for a spiritual seeker. That's why when we sing, we should pray to God more than anything, this for this faith and love. Swami beautifully said, when you want to communicate with God, you write a letter, right? In the old days, nowadays email, WhatsApp, and thing, it is different. But that example, when you send a letter, you will have an address and you will have a stamp. So stamp is like faith, and address is like love. So you want to send somebody, you send the address but no stamp, it won't go because it needs stamp. If you have stamp and there's no address, it will go to dead letter box. So to communicate to God, you need both faith and love. And another important point before in the paragraph which Nirupama said last week, two things in the scriptures. They have literal meaning. We call by word, they will have a meaning. That is called Bahyartham. That means the external meaning, which all the people, any poets, scholars, all people do. Then there is Antarartham, inner meaning, which some scholars, some great philosophers do. Then the higher meaning is Paramartham, divine meaning, which great Siddhas like Ramana Maharshi or Vivekananda, Ram can do. But avatars are the one who spontaneously give. We talk about Shidi Baba, how he gave Tadvidhi Pranipatena Pariprashnena Sevaya Upadeshanchite Ajnanam Jnaninam Tattvadarshana. All the great teachers, even Adi Shankara, everybody said Upadeshanchite Jnanam. He will give the Jnanam, but only Shidi Baba said no. God doesn't give you jnanam, He will give you ajnanam. So we are already jnanis. We just remove the ajnani. So highest meaning. Nobody else has that. First Shirdi Baba, he didn't even want to go to school. He never read Vedas, scriptures, because they are the source of all knowledge. So in the beginning, we all get external when you read the meaning and translation. But as you go, for example, when I used to be interested in Gita from my childhood, but what I read then, when I read in college, and now, with each time, it is the same words, no change, different, same thing. But with your experience, the meaning, inner meaning changes. For all of us, the scriptures, that is the power of the scriptures. The meaning changes with time, depending upon our purity, our experience. And then finally, by the grace of God, like Shri Baba, even Swami gave many things, like most of like we talked, karmanyevadikaraste ma phaleshu kadachana. Everybody says we don't have entitlement for fruits. Swami says, no, as you do an action, we are entitled to the results. Automatically goes, as you sow, you reap. But willfully you surrender those fruits to God, then we are not bound. That is the whole secret of the Nishkama Karma, that is selfless service, or what you do, the Karma Yoga, Lord Krishna said. So, Lord, I dedicate all my actions and their fruits thereof to you. Because ultimately he is the producer, director, actor, doer, and he even the instrument and the results. But you should have that experience. Till that experience comes, we pray to the Lord. So that is the important. So then you'll get the real divine meaning of the scriptures. That is important to have that flashes of the divinity. And second aspect here we talked about is he had doubt. He is 125 years old. There is Krishna, Lord Krishna, approximately. Who knows? I never saw that. But he was older than Arjuna during the battlefield. But still, those days, I'm surprised. They could fight. Even Arjuna was. Now we can't even walk after some age. So, but those days, at that age, Bhishma, all those people were more than 100 years old. They could be real warriors fighting. So they had that strength. So he says, I saw you because you are my friend, his brother-in-law, he was playing together. How can you be teaching to sun god, Manu? It's natural doubt. The problem is you are identifying with the body. That is the whole thing. That is why even if you read the Bible, same thing Jesus said. I taught this to Abraham. Who is Jesus was only two, and he was Abraham is much thousands of years old, but it says I taught to Abraham. There they identify themselves with that cosmic principles. They don't identify with the body. That is why Lord Krishna clearly says, I talked about this in front of Swami. So he gave me Avajananti ma mudha manushim tanumashritam param bhavam ajananto mama bhuta maheshwaram. These people, mudha means ignorant, we all of us. Avajan, they insult me, think I am this body. So we all insult God when you just restrict him to a name, a form, and a place. So Lord Rama was there in Ayodhya with that name, Kausala's son. But he is all pervading reality. Same thing, Lord Krishna, he was there in Mathura, Vrindavan, but he is all pervading. Same thing with Jesus, he was born in Bethlehem, came up in Nazareth and taught in Galilee and thing, but he is there all over. Same thing with Swami. He is born in Puttaparthi, but he is there all over. See, that is why he says, even Swami said many discourses, don't restrict me to this name, to this form, and to this place. So you should see him. Then he says, yeah, he was there before, he is there now, he will be there forever. So this happens. Great masters, I heard one incident. You heard of Bhagavan Ramana Maharshi, right? In Tiruvannamalai, one is there. Once this famous saint, another saint, Chandrasekhar Paramacharya, he's from Kanchi. He is considered great teacher and incarnation of Lord Shiva. So he came to Arunachalam to do that. There's famous Giri Pradakshinam. They go around the hill because we see in Manasa Bhajare Guru Charan Arunachala Shiva Arunachala. Because Arunachal, the mountain itself is considered as Shiva. So people go around that, is going like around Shiva. That is very powerful mountain. So he was going pradakshina around that, this Chandrasekhar Paramacharya. Then devotees of Ramana said, Sir, I heard this Paramacharya came, we want to go and see him. Yeah, he said, okay, can you also come and we can have his darshan? And he says, that is what he realized. Why should I see him? He and me are same. There is no, he should not need my darshan, I don't need this. There is only one thing exists, and that is me everywhere. So you see that they identify, then they don't even see that you, him, he is a great saint, he knows he was not disrespectful, but he shows he is the same in everything. So that is the highest realization you will get. So here so he was ignorant. So anytime we restrict God to a name, a form, and place, we are ignorant. But we have to start there because otherwise we can't. But ultimately, we should see him in all names, in all forms, and in all places. That is another thing. And here, he says, this is very nice thing. Like the mole in the eye, stone in the shoe. There are some Telugu people here. There's a beautiful poem, Vemana poem. So I will tell that. So if anybody can remember. Cheppuloni rayi, చెవిలోని జోరీగా కంటిలోని నలుసు కాలి ముల్లు ఇంటిలోని పోరు ఇంతింతగాదయ విశ్వదాభిరామ వినురవేమ. This great saint Vemana, he was actually first used to enjoy everything, then became saint. He said very common sense. He said, Cheppuloni rai, when you are walking in your shoe, there is a little small stone. It is a very small stone. But when you are walking, my God, you can't walk till you stop and take. Cheviloni joriga, that means in your ear, some little insect has gone. It's a small insect, but you will be miserable if it is. Actually, I know one of the great singers, Haima knows, Mala Ganguly. She was a Bengali singer. She actually came for our daughter's wedding reception. One time, poor lady in the apartment, he was there, and cockroach went into her ear. My God, she was so miserable. She had to go to Methodist emergency room. She didn't have insurance. Haima ran there, helped her. Right, Haima? You had it. She. So happy. So that was simple. Cheviloni, joriga, kantiloni nalusu. In your eye, something you are walking, some little thing falls. Little things could be there. but till it get it off is you have to wash and do so. Kali mullu and intiloni poru intintakade. In your wife, in your house, you have got trouble with your spouse. It could be wife or husband. There is nothing compared. These are all most miserable states, he was telling. So by God's will, so like that Swami, that is the exact English translation. They didn't do that stone in the shoe, thorn in the foot, and mole in the eye. It's not mole, it's a smack in the eye, and the uh, trouble in the home. So these are all the things very miserable. So just to says, similar is the doubt. So doubts are the one in life, anything, even between husband and wife, husband should trust the wife should trust the husband. Even when you are flying and plane, oh, that pilot guy, he doesn't know how to fly, will collapse, then you won't be flying. And the Swami even tell when you go to a barber, so Chiranjeev said he went to barber this year. So he put your head in the old days, there's some knife. My God, if that knife, you can do anything, you can get your head. So you trust in the barber, okay, he will do. So anything in life, even when you cross the lights, you think, my God, nobody will. So in general, you should have that trust. Otherwise, your life is miserable. Some people doubt everybody, everything. So that guy, that even maid servants come over, they may steal something. They won't, everything they doubt about their colleagues, workers, in the family members. You need to have reasonable discrimination, but you should have faith in people. But the most important faith is faith in God, absolute faith. The whole secret of spirituality, Lord Krishna says, you consider the life as a river. One shore is doubt, another shore is complete faith. The whole travel is this. That is why the shore is samshaya. Samshayatma, Philip, anybody else? Philip, vinashyate. The man with doubts will perish. She was so serious. Samshayatma vinashyati. And then cross across, you get Shraddhavan, man with faith, labate jnanam. So if you have got complete faith, you will be enlightened. So the whole spiritual journey is from having doubts to make it less. Ultimately, to completely, you should have a stage where you have complete faith, then you are enlightened. So it is not easy. We think, I have faith in Swami. Don't think that is that complete faith. Sometimes we forget. We may have 50%, some 80%, 90%, but absolute faith. You know the story of Jesus, right? His famous apostle. Who? Thomas. He was doubting Thomas. He was his apostle. He's a great man. Actually, he went all the way to India and established the mission of Christian mission. There are so many churches in India on his name. In Chennai, there is a place, and in Kerala, actually, there are a lot of people who have the last name as Thomas because he spread the message of Lord Jesus to India. But he had doubt when Jesus was resurrected. He said, "Oh, really? He did?" He had that doubt because that is to have the doubt is very things. To have that absolute faith, even Mother Yashoda, she saw when opened the Lord Krishna's mouth, she saw 14 worlds, all moon, sky. But after a while, she forgot. She thinks it is her own child. She thought it's a boy. She didn't forget he's divine. So she tries to tie him with a rope and tie him to the trees. And same thing, Vishwamitra, he is the one who gave Gayatri. He tells the father of Rama, oh, Rama is supreme Brahman, he is God, nothing will happen to him, don't worry. Send him with me to fight the demons. And what does he do when he goes to the doing the yajna? All those demons start attacking. Then he goes, Lord, help these guys, and gives mantras to Rama, Lakshmana. Then Rama says, you told my father that I am God, nothing happened. Now you are doing that. Means that time he forgot that he is God. So this Maya is so powerful, we can all forget. I can tell you stories. Raja Venkatagiri, Swami's devotee, he came to our house, an apartment in Puttaparthi. We had the little pink painting down, like Swami's thing. Then he said, if Swami shows that to me and says it is blue, I will believe. If Swami says it is red, I will believe, like that Arjuna and the story. I said, okay, I will also have faith like that. I just decided, whatever Swami says, I will decide. So everything went well. Then I was leaving, coming back to America. So Swami said, you are going on, let me say, yeah, you are going on Sunday and Saturday. Saturday, Sunday. So usually we are 12 hours behind, right? We are 12 hours behind. They are 12 hours ahead. So I said, no, Swami. So for example, Swami said, you are going, what is it, Saturday means Sunday, right? If for Saturday here, for Saturday in India, it is, no, Sunday it is Friday. So he is opposite, Swami said. No, Swami, I'm going. Then I realized, because I wanted not to contradict him, but I got into trap, because I looked at the India thing, but Swami was talking about the American time. Then I realized, my God, so it is not that easy. So just right away your intelligence, your mind, monkey mind plays a trick and misleads you. You always think whatever Swami says is truth and whatever he does is action. That kind of absolute faith comes by his grace. Prasadatmaya Achyuta. We should pray for that always. Lord, give me that complete faith and pure love. So that is the, I said long things, but these thoughts came to me. So anybody else has any thoughts or ideas or questions, please go ahead. Yeah, Chiranjeevi.
We have question.
Oh, question. Yeah.
I get nervous to ask a doubt because
Nervous to ask a doubt.
Samshayatma Vinashyate. I'm joking. Is it that a person has 40% faith, 80% faith, etc.? Because, like Thomas showed, even 99% faith means no faith. So maybe it is that the same person has 100% faith at some time and no faith at some times. Anything less than 100% faith is no faith. Maybe our sadhana should be constantly to be in 100% faith. Am I right in this thinking?
Yeah. Always should have 100% faith. As I said, it's not easy. So it is ultimate stage. But we all go through that. Sometimes, like Yashoda, when she saw, she had faith. Oh, he's Supreme Brahman. But afterwards, the Maya, when you get in the world, you forget that truth. So this back and forth. But some people, great saints are the example. Always they are established. Always they never forget their reality. Once you get rid of the body consciousness, you are always absolutely in that consciousness. Here also Swami told a story, partial faith. So in the time of Buddhists, this is Swami's story. So there was one guy, because there was a fight between Buddhists and because they wanted to eliminate Vedic culture. So then some of the Orthodox, one of the men who quietly joined Buddhist monastery, wanted to find what they are doing, just to get the secret. So they just found out this guy is a spy. They got hold of him. They took him to the top of the building. They want to kill him. They want to throw him. They threw him actually. Then he says, if the Vedas are correct, I will not die. The Vedas will sway me. He falls on the ground. He doesn't die. He loses one eye. Then he says, I have faith in why did it happen? I Allah. He says, you said Vedas are true, that is why I want it. If Vedas are true, if you put that if word, that means you don't have still 100% faith. You have, I will have, he is it, nothing will happen. If you have that 100% faith, nothing would have happened. Who is the greatest example? So there, anyway, it is good to hear that story because Shivaratri is coming. The greatest story is of a sage called Markandeya. This guy's sage Markandeya, Haima's father's name was Markandeya Reddy, so Hari and things. So that is a nice name. He's called Chiranjeevi. He exists all the time because of the blessing of Lord Shiva. Just to make it concise, it's a long story. These parents, his Mulkanda, his father, and his Marudvati, they didn't have children. They're great, pious people. They didn't have children. They were feeling bad because society talks, oh, they are good people, they have children. Then they pray to Lord Shiva. And Shiva is pleased with his penance and tapas. He says, okay, what do you want? So I want a child. He says, here, choose two choices I will give you. You can have one son or many children who will live long time, but they're very bad character, troublesome people. They you want to have them, or you can have another son who's a good son. He will be virtuous, lover of God, good man, good character, but he will live only 16 years. What do you want? You have to choose. The poor guy, he didn't have a child. Okay, better to have a son who is 16, he will live 16, but good man, because the troublesome guy, he will bring bad name to the whole family, me, everybody, and I'll be even cursed by God. So I want just son who lives till 16. So this boy, he was a good boy, knows Vedas and helps people, does service, loves Lord Shiva, always chanting Om Namah Shivaya, wearing Rudraksha and Bhasma and doing all that. So meanwhile, time went away. 15 years gone, 16th year came. So then Lord Yama is ready, because Lord Shiva said, you have 16, no choice. But his father and mother started crying. He says, why mom, you are crying? Oh no, I didn't tell you that you are going to, this is your last year, in a few days you are going to die. He says, no, I won't die. Lord Shiva is there with me. He has so much faith. What can Lord God of death can do? Nothing can happen. So he was in Kashi and he was worshipping the linga. So Om Namah Shivaya, Om Namah Shivaya, chant to them. So the time of that, so the Lord Yama says, he sends his assistants. Says, go, this guy's time is up, bring him. So they go there, and there's so much light there, these people cannot even go close to him, because he has so much divine power and effulgence. Then they came, sir, we can't do anything about this boy, you cannot take. Okay, then I have to go. He goes with his pasha, that means the noose thread, and to take him back. So he goes there and he tries to do that. He can then finally puts the noose, but this guy is holding the lingam so tightly, so it falls on the lingam. Also, because he is holding the lingam, so that the noose falls on him and the lingam. Then he tries to pull. Then Lord Shiva comes as Rudra, because, yeah, who are you to do? Then he kicks him, they say the scriptures, with his left foot to Yama on his heart. Yama falls, the Lord of death falls. So he is gone. So everybody, all the gods, if the Yama is gone, what is the problem? He has a role to play. Then there is a lesson. Then Lord Shiva tells, don't touch my devotees. He is. So not only he lived for 16, you will become Chiranjeevi. That means you will be living forever. Like Hanuman, he's not only, so if you are a good person, you are a lover of God, so he made him, you will be ever. But here that absolute faith, Markandeya, that when I have God, nothing. There is a beautiful Chandrasekhara Ashtakam. Yam Karudi, Chandrasekhara, Yam Karudi. What can Yama do to me when I am taking Chandrasekhara, that Namam? That is the beautiful Chandrasekhara Ashtakam is there. So that is the power. If you have absolute faith, even death will be scared of you. So let us have that absolute faith. Okay? So anybody, if then a comment, we can close. So in answer to his question, the main thing is, if you want liberation, have absolute faith. You want to come back, you can have partial faith. If you have no faith, then you will be perished. Who? Yeah, go ahead.
Sairam, I know for next week's satsang, I want to bring up the thing is inquiry and a paranoid thinking doubt are two separate things. We can't have a blind faith. That's not what Swami is encouraging. So
No.
the doubt means that that misconceptions and the paranoid thing, all those comes into that. But you need to have a real inquiry mind to understand the true knowledge. Asking a question is not something
not
wrong.
at all. That is not doubt. So asking, you need to have, that is why Swami said, when people say, come and find out who I am, inquire who is Sai Baba. But once you have seen, experienced, and received his love, then you should not have. That is why Swami says, your picture when you are hanging, you will shake it like that, whether it is stable or not. So there is doubt in the beginning. But once it is, you should have the complete faith. Nothing should shake you. You should have that absolute faith. But in the beginning, we inquire, because people who have that blind thing, then something bad happens in their life, they leave and run. But you have a solid foundation on which your faith is there, then whatever happens, they don't change. They will have that, like, if you see the stories of all this, like Markandeya, he was about, you read this Professor Kasturi's story in Loving God, poor man, his children die, his wife was disabled, so many great devotees, even for Jesus, Saint Peter. So he went to so many troubles. So he gets so much upset with Jesus. You go and help so many people, but I'm your disciples, and I have to go through a lot of troubles because you are close to God. Still, people go through a lot of trouble. Like you read Tyagaraja, Surdas, all these great people. So they great devotees of God. They go through that. But that is the time, your testing time. Your faith wavers. But even then, you can have, we'll talk next week about also some of you read Job in the Bible, how because Lord hath given, Lord hath taken away, blessed be the name of the Lord. So people who to all the good and bad, they hold on to God. That is the real spirituality.
I was just going to mention Job, actually. That's such a great story. I think.
Yeah, you can talk about
Perfect.
next week. Why don't you tell that story? When we start beginning, just to read Job's story, that will show how the people have that kind of faith.